Hey squad, Sykes here, and thank you for taking the time out to click on this video. If you enjoy what you see, then please leave a like, head over to InstallationX and subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications for more Xbox content. So if you are an Xbox fan or a video gaming fan in general, then you have probably heard of the absolutely insane mega deal that Microsoft have made to acquire ZeniMax Media, the parent company of Bethesda, for a whopping $7.5 billion. Now, news was broken about this deal a couple of weeks ago, and so far since then, a lot of people have been speculating about what Xbox and therefore Microsoft are going to actually do with Bethesda once this deal goes through. And a lot of that speculation was surrounding whether Microsoft were actually going to make Bethesda games fully exclusive to the Xbox platform, so you can only play them on the Series X, the Series S, on PC via Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Live, and via Android as part of Xbox Game Pass streaming. And other people were also speculating about, well, hang on, that's a bit of a dumb idea because there's a massive player base here on PlayStation, there's a massive player base here on Switch. That seems like a really dumb idea for Microsoft to just take those games away from those markets. However, there has been a recent update. Now, Stephen Totilo over at Kotaku has recently sat down with Phil Spencer, and he brought up the topic about the Bethesda, or therefore ZeniMax, acquisition. And I'm going to read out a section of the article. It's a long article because Stephen interviews Phil on various different topics regarding the launch of the Series X and the Series S and Game Pass and all sorts. So I'm just going to talk about the Bethesda specific part, but if you want to read the whole article, then I will leave it with a link in the description. So, Totilo asked whether Spencer had in previous interviews that existing deals involving ZeniMax games would still be honoured, so suggesting that something like the time-travelling game Deathloop would still come to PS5. That has been confirmed, so any timed exclusives with Bethesda and PS5, so Deathloop, and I think the other one is Tokyo Ghostwire, I believe, they're going to be honoured by the timed exclusivity deals that they had with PlayStation with Sony, so they're still going to be, for the time being, PlayStation-only games. However, beyond that, fans have wondered whether ZeniMax games would go Xbox and PC only. In other words, they've wondered if PlayStation would stop getting Fallouts and miss out on a sequel to Skyrim. I wondered that too, quote. So Totilo asked, is it possible to recoup a $7.5 billion investment if you don't sell Elder Scrolls 6 on the PlayStation? I asked. Quote, Spencer quickly replied, yes, and then he paused. Quote, I don't want to flip about that, he said. He added, this deal was not done to take games away from another player base like that. Nowhere in the documentation that we put together was, how do we keep other players from playing these games? We want people to be able to play the games, not fewer people to be able to play games. But I'll also say in the model, I'm just answering directly the question that you had. When I think about where people are going to be playing and the number of devices that we had, and we have xCloud and PC and Game Pass and our console base, I don't have to go and ship those games on any other platform other than the platforms that we support in order to kind of make the deal work for us, whatever that means. Now that is a massive, massive statement from Phil, which kind of suggests that this deal's been made for one purpose and one purpose only, to get Bethesda games exclusively on the Xbox platform. Now, I didn't actually cover this news at the time, but I've been thinking about this and kind of absorbing things that people have been saying on Twitter, people have been saying online in general, and you've got to think about the scale of which this deal has come about. Microsoft have spent $7.5 billion to acquire ZeniMax in its entirety, and they've done it mainly for Bethesda as a publisher. They've done it for the IP that Bethesda own. Elder Scrolls, and Elder Scrolls 6 is coming. The Fallout IP, Starfield, Doom, Dishonored, Prey, Wolfenstein, The Evil Within, and any other kind of Bethesda top tier franchise and top tier IP that they have or they're currently not developing. Microsoft have done this to get those range of games, which, let's be honest, they are some of the biggest IP in video games, exclusively into Game Pass. That is the entire reason why they have made this deal. Okay, now I understand why people on PlayStation might be a bit peeved about this. I would get that too. If someone suddenly came to me and said, oh, by the way, Ubisoft games are no longer going to be on Xbox, they're only going to be on PlayStation, I'd be a bit peeved about that, because there's a lot of Ubisoft games that I actually like, e.g. Assassin's Creed, for example. So this deal and this entirety, they paid the amount that Disney paid for Star Wars, plus the amount that Microsoft paid for the Minecraft IP. Those two together then equals the amount of money that they've paid for Bethesda. And they have paid this money to have those IP in their entirety, to have those IP under their complete and utter control, and to have all of Bethesda Studios as part of the Xbox platform. Now, Phil Spencer hasn't gone as far to say officially yet that Bethesda Studios, so we're looking at id Software, we're looking at Bethesda Game Studios, ZeniMax Online, Machine Games, Arcane, I think it's Tango Gameworks, and others. They haven't been officially announced yet as Xbox Game Studios. They're still under the Bethesda arm, and I think what Microsoft are going to do is they're going to keep them that way, because the Bethesda name still carries a lot of weight for a lot of gamers, and that's going to be more significant than just seeing the Xbox Game Studios logo. Now, if they wanted timed exclusivity for Bethesda games, they would never, ever have paid this much amount of money. So these games are going to be on Game Pass, and what this does and what this opens up, and this is the important thing as to why they've done it, is I don't think necessarily Microsoft are looking to take people from PlayStation and completely convert them to Xbox. They're not looking for that necessarily anymore. That might have been the deal back, 7 years ago when they launched the Xbox One, or maybe, and definitely in the 360 era. But Microsoft are no longer necessarily looking to take, 20 odd million players from the PlayStation 4 player base that they've got at the moment, potentially PlayStation 5 player base, and move them and convert them solely to Xbox. That's not the deal that they're going for. They are looking to make Game Pass as appealing to as many different people as possible. So if you play on a PC, they're trying to make Game Pass appealable for you, so that you are going to want to pick up Game Pass to play on your PC as well. With PlayStation, they are looking at PlayStation gamers, and they're trying to say, look, we understand that you really, really care about PlayStation. You love the console, you love the exclusives over there, but what we want to do is we want to say, here's a reason to play on Xbox as well as playing on PlayStation. And a deal like this, and getting games like Elder Scrolls 6, the next Fallout, the next Doom, the next Wolfenstein, that is going to appeal to those gamers to pick up Game Pass as well as their primary platform, whether that's PlayStation, whether that's Switch, whether that's PC. This is the whole point of this deal. They're trying to make Game Pass as appealing to as many people as possible, regardless of the platform that they're on. And they are making it stupidly accessible for people, because if you really, really badly want to play these games, but you only own a PlayStation, but you have a smartphone, then guess what? With your Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription, you can play these games on your phone. You can even, at some point further down the line, when Xbox's first-party games really start rolling out, because they're not ready yet, obviously, you might be able to pick up a really cheap Xbox Series S alongside your main console or your main platform, your PlayStation 5, your PC. So I don't think this statement from Phil is surprising. I found it quite baffling that some people were still sitting on this idea that they're still going to go to PlayStation, or some of the games are still going to go to Switch. I found that rather baffling, because at the end of the day, you don't make this level of a deal to just put the games back on the platforms that they were already on. You make this deal to get eyes on your product, to get people into your ecosystem and into your platform and spending money and engaging there. So I know this might be a bit of a bummer for people on PlayStation and people on Switch. I'm not one of these console fanboy people. I just disagree with all that bullshit completely. But ultimately, Microsoft have made this deal. As an Xbox fan right now, it benefits me incredibly well. I can't wait to play all these games as just part of my Xbox Game Pass subscription. I'm going to have access to all of them, and I cannot wait. So if there's any more news on the Bethesda deal, guys, I will let you know as quickly as I can. As always, if you enjoyed this video, then please make sure you leave a like, head over to InstallationX and subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications for more Xbox content. Let me know your thoughts on the Bethesda acquisition in the comments below. Don't forget to follow myself and the channel on social media with links in the description. And as always, I'm Sykes, and for all things Xbox, stay tuned to InstallationX. Bye, guys.